for inviting me. While we fire up, I think it's going to come up on the screen in a second. I'm Nicolas Roope. I'm from a creative company in London, and because we're a creative company, lots of clients and businesses come to us and ask us for advertising, and we've been around for about 8-9 years. And right from the beginning, we've always said yes because we needed the money, but then we subtly and surreptitiously tried to turn their advertising into things. I don't think it's there yet. It should be white. When it's white, we know we're in business. So yeah, and we so over the last 8 years, we've like I said, we've tried to turn advertising into things. Oh, we were there for a second. In the beginning, we weren't conscious of this fact. It was more intuition. I think creative people are more excited about making things that have a longer lasting life and have a real role to play in people's lives. I think that's what took us away from advertising. We felt it was a little superficial. So this is the title of the talk this morning. Here's a nasty transition. So here's a thing. And what advertising, generally does is it wraps around the thing. If that thing's a TV show that you want to see, it's a magazine you want to read full of things that you've chosen to experience, the advertising kind of places itself around it or between it, sort of forces you to watch it effectively. So you, the user, reader, viewer, whatever your relationship is, you have to travel through the ads. You have to see the ads to experience the thing. And that's where the advertising generates the revenue for the ad people, the media people, and the person actually making the content itself. Obviously, with those institutional costs in creating the thing, you need to pay for it somehow, and that's where the advertising comes in. It's sort of symbiotic relationship. But I think what we've realized, and what's become very clear to us, is actually what the internet, particularly, and the growing community of the web and social networking and all these things, has provided us with, is actually an opportunity to bypass traditional advertising, and to make things, to not make the wrapper, not make the bit in between or in the way, but to concentrate on making the thing itself, which seems like a really obvious thing to do. Obviously, when the consumer or whoever we're talking to again are then just coming straight to the thing and they're interacting with the thing, and we're able to convey our messages or whatever it is we want to do through that a much more direct relationship. So just to rewind a little bit, I think all these things have been terms we use around that people have been excited about around the role of interactive media in advertising. But they're all things, really. I mean, virals and events and all these things that take place online, they're all things, they're all destinations, they're all things that people are choosing to engage with and choosing to share, not seeing because they have to. And actually, when you wrap them up and treat them as a whole, then it starts, to me, and to us as a business, it starts to look really interesting. And another really important point is that the internet hates ads. I mean, who hasn't? When you're running around the sites and looking at different things, it's when do you actually like the ad that you're looking at? When do you remember that being a good or useful experience? It just doesn't work. It doesn't work, and we see that in the figures of success and engagement. That there is a diminishing level of response. So why flog a dead horse? Why continue this situation? There's another part to this as well, which is in terms of communication and actually trying to tell a story about what your organisation stands for, or what sort of classic branding, but in a bit of a new realm. And this phrase came up, and I just thought it was incredibly useful, which is, don't tell me that you're funny, tell me a funny joke. It's like anybody can go around telling us, giving us promises and telling us what they are. But it's actually the evidence of that position, of that claim, that's important. And in terms of the relationship, in terms of belief, your belief is going to be much stronger if you see evidence, not work on claims. And really, ads are claims generally. They're messages that claim something, that promise something. The behavior, the actual delivery of that is the thing, whether that's what the business then goes on to do, or even the way that that's reported back, the way that you come into contact with the reality of that claim. So a company goes out and says, we have great service, and then they don't deliver on that service. So I think there's another opportunity here with this sort of things-led approach to really instill, to realize the claim. So not only to convey the message, but to actually prove, prove its validity. So here are some examples of work that we've done that kind of illustrate the point. So Orange, which is one of our biggest clients, I know they're here as well. They created a new line a couple of years ago called "Together We Can Do More." So this is their kind of claim that they wish to inspire, people with, and also to sort of wrap what they do as a communication company first and foremost. So rather than create another ad about that, and there have been many already, we created a tool, an application that sits on Facebook that lets people make projects together. So uses the social graph and the power of what social networking is, which is just incredibly seamless means to sort of share not just pictures, but passions. And to bring that together into something that enable them to work together, giving them the tools to create things together in a way that they couldn't have done otherwise. So we became, it's positioning Orange as a kind of facilitator in this relationship, and meant that those who got involved and produced things together, actually the experience that they took out was "Together we can do more." It's proof. It was turning that from a claim into reality. Just show you a quick little movie. I'm going to have to move on because I'm running out of time a bit. So that was the application. This is something else. This is a baker that is across the road from where we work. And they were quite new. Obviously, they wanted to let people know that they existed. But we didn't come in, actually, from an advertising brief. We came in from a problem, which is they were making nice stuff, but we never knew when it was going to be ready. So we created a little box, a little wireless gadget called Baker Tweet, which sits on the wall of the bakery. And again, I'll race past the film. Here it is on the wall. It's super dumb. So most gadgets are all about adding functionality. This is about taking it away. The baker, the sort of bakery is a hazardous situation because of all the dough and the flour and all the mess. So we knew that we weren't going to get bakers kind of tweeting on laptops every time the bread was coming out of the oven. So we put this box up. They can turn the dial to the different type of produce, and then they press the button, and it automatically tweets what's come out. So. And then, so it's a nice fun thing. It's really a tool. It's an application that has this very sort of cartoon quality about it. But it actually fulfills a real benefit because it means that every time they're baking something, then anybody who's interested in freshly baked bread or whatever it might be will be informed. And it's more like 1,500 people who subscribe. Of all those 1,500 people living in the area, good portion of them will turn up and buy the produce. Happier customer because a croissant costs £1 whether it's fresh out of the oven or it's been hanging around for two hours, and a happy business because it's connecting customers with the produce in an interesting way. So it's a win-win, classic win-win. Another kind of expression of the together we can do more. This is a Mexican wave thing, which we've just used to bring to life the sales process of demonstrating gadgets. In Orange's case, phones used to be sold just on their looks, right? And now they're all mini computers, so they're all being sold on functionality. But how do you sell that without people having to sign into every device across the spectrum? So we created these kind of poetic equivalences to functions they may use if they actually bought the phone and used it. This one, we're just asking people to do a one-man Mexican wave to demonstrate how the video works. So we demonstrate the video, and then we ask them, do they want to MMS it or email it to the server they choose. So we take them through the whole process of shooting and editing and then sending. And then that gets sent to this Mexican wave wall where they pop up in one of these boxes. Seconds later. So they've done the demonstration, and then they see themselves. This screen is positioned at the entrance to the store, and it has sensors on both sides. So when people walk into the store, it triggers the wall, which greets them. But that wall is made up of all those customers that have been through the store, but also through the sales process. And again, together they're coming together to and building something bigger out of their individual interactions. And we've demonstrated the video function on the phone. So we're wrapping all of these things together. And I wouldn't call that advertising. I would call that something else. I'm calling it things today, just to simplify it. This is something else. This is a charity, a children's charity in the UK called Bernardos. We're approached to, yet again, create some advertising in their run-up to Christmas, which is the busy time for charities. It's when people are the greatest disposition to give, so understandably lots of activity happens around that point. And we, rather than creating ads, we decided to make a documentary because we felt that actually if there was one thing that was true of kids and actually more generally, more specifically teenagers, is that the media did a pretty good job of misrepresenting them. So if the charity was about representing them, then the best thing we could do for that group was actually give them a platform to represent themselves, give them a platform to speak to the nation, and tell them what they thought in very sort of clear terms, unmediated as much as possible. So we looked to other kind of significant cultural moments around Christmas. And this is one of the things that jumped out immediately, which is the Queen's speech, which goes out on Christmas Day. You might know her from coins and stamps. But this is for the profile view, you'll know. So that's everybody in England kind of engaging. So we created the teen speech. So for 2.5 months, we went around. We actually opened up a YouTube channel and invited people to kind of to respond to themes and express their points of view. And then that we edited that on as we went along, and then we brought a documentary director in to actually go and shoot all of the stuff that surfaced and create a coherent film. which then both MySpace and YouTube ran on the front page of the site around the time of the Queen's speech on Christmas Day. And because it was a thing, because it wasn't an ad, it was a piece of content, it was something had been specifically created to engage both the adult audiences who were sort of interested in having this glimpse into teenage Britain, but for teenagers themselves to see whether they synced up with the points of view or not. So it ran for free. We didn't have to pay anybody for it. And not in a huge way, but in a significant way, it really marked a very different kind of approach, for Bernardos, and really it sent a strong message out that actually, whilst advertising was doing a good job to create awareness around the brand, what it couldn't do is actually express the complexity of what they stood for. And this film started to do that. It started to really get to grips with actually the problem they were dealing with. I've got enough time just to show you probably the very beginnings, but I'll let it roll. So this is all stuff taken from the beginning part of the...
Hello world.
Hiya.
Hello internet.
Some of the characters that started to emerge through this process.
Francis, I'm 15.
Hi, my name's Joey, I'm 15.
Hello, I'm Bethany.
This is Ridian.
Hey, the name's Fraser, I'm 14 years old and I live
Hello there, I'm Sam, I'm 17.
Hi, my name's Laura, I'm from Hertfordshire and
I'm James, 19 from Scotland.
My name's Ben, I'm 17 from West Midlands.
If there was one thing I could say to the nation, it would be this. A lot of teenagers do want to engage with adults, and the only way they can do this is by learning from adults. And so I think that you shouldn't judge people by how they look, because a lot of teenagers are actually friendly.
People go out and get smashed at parties and sleep with
Better
people
believe
we don't even know. Wake up the next morning and move on. That's normal in teenage culture.
I don't think enough about the consequences. I really should.
We think we're invincible. We're not going to get an STD.
I was 15 when I had my son.
Not having a family and not being able to talk to them results in young people going into gangs, so they have a sense of belonging.
My history with bullying is a bit dark. In polite terms, you just hate yourself.
Around the corner from me, there was a man that was stabbed. And there's been rapes around my house, and I have to walk to school when it's dark, and I feel really scared that it's going to happen to me.
Do not get smashed. Do not sleep with a stranger. Do wear a condom. Do go and get tested if you're worried about it, and do follow advice from what they give you.
I've never had a boyfriend just because of religious reasons, so I can't really say much about what it's like to have a boyfriend.
We could roll on, but we're out of
I
town.
know that
so,
life is peaceful
thank you very
without
much.
a boyfriend compared to what all my friends do.
I just feel the whole to prepare you for life and stuff.
I think many teenagers don't really understand the full implications of what it means.